Hello everyone, hope you're doing well, hope you're looking after yourselves. As you can see, we've got another episode of Behind the Curtain, where we dive into some of the topics that we discuss in our episodes and our other podcasts, but we're in a new location. Because the guest speaker today allowed me to record at their home. So as I always say, I don't like doing introductions. I think it's better to hear from the guest speakers themselves. So we've got a great guest speaker today. Could you let us know a bit more about you and what you do?
So hi guys, my name is Davina Sampson Akpuru. I went to Brunel University because I'm about to graduate. I studied media and communication. Right now I'm more into social media marketing, but I feel like personally I am on the journey of being a content creator and being passionate about, the arts, or just being a creative person is just who I am. And I'm actually quite grateful to have been able to come here and, delve into that creatively and then just see different environment and a different culture of how, that can be done. So, yeah.
Oh, definitely. And thank you. Thank you so much for letting us know a bit more about you. Let's get started with literally just as you're about to graduate. You mentioned that you studied at Brunel. And if I'm correct, you're an international student.
Yes, I am.
Tell us a bit more about your experience of coming to the UK, studying abroad. How has this impacted you both professionally and personally?
Well, I think I'll start with personally because I didn't really start professionally at first until maybe my final year of uni. But personally, I feel that culture switch or that change was very big for me, especially coming from Africa down here as an international student. Everything literally changed for me, the whole dialect, the whole how you relate to people, how you talk, understanding the lingo, and then understanding the slangs. It took me so long before I could fit into an environment and just be okay, I kind of feel comfortable here. But I feel when I first came here, I was still very used to the whole following people in my own culture. So most of my friends were literally Nigerians or I tried other African friends as well, but mostly I would say 90% of my friends were Nigerians until came back and I started meeting people and it became a comfortable space for me in Brunel. And I feel Brunel was really that environment that I needed in order for me to understand that whole mixture of different countries, different cultures and different people, and it's just been great.
It's really good. And I think like you mentioned, we did a podcast episode about it before of there is a big change when you sort of come to the UK. I know the one we mentioned there was definitely the drinking culture. And going out is definitely different in the UK than it is in other places.
Well, I mean, it's not that different. I feel because I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm also American, but I'm a Lagos girl. But the culture of going out in Lagos, I even think is even more than it is here. Trust me. People are always oh yeah, wait till summer. No, Lagos people are always up to 7 a.m., 8 a.m. partying till the next day. It's crazy. So there's not really that difference between the two. So yeah.
Well, definitely. Oh, thank you. Let's go on to the next question. Because you said, I've seen your page that you do create a lot of content. You're on your journey to become a content creator, and we'd just like to know what motivated you to embark on this creative journey. And then I've got a second part to it, which is, what do you feel that you can offer through your content? Because these guys know that everyone I guess knows it, that there's a lot of people who sort of say they're content creators and they it's almost everyone's doing their own thing and it's just it can be so essentially it's just what motivated you to be a content creator and what do you feel you have to offer through your content?
Okay, let's start. Okay. What made me to be a content creator? Personally, since I was a kid, I've always been somewhere that's been creative, arts, dance, drama, music. So I've just been someone that's been I've always had a lot to give. So I feel growing up, being able to go into that sense of the creative side of me made me want more every single time. Okay. So I went from being in school and doing dance and here dance is different. So it was the cultural dance, the proper everything. So I went into that. I did the whole cultural dance from different cultures. I did choir. I did drama. It was so great. It was so good that when I finished university, and I decided to do performing arts as a uni course as well. So I did 4 years of dance, music, and drama. And then from there I was like, you know what, uni. But then after uni I was like, my creative side just feels dead. Like, what next am I going to do? I just started seeing people doing content creating on, on Instagram. And I was like, so many people are just doing this and, it's turning out good for them. So why can't I try that as a form of creativity for me? Then I now started doing like fitness influencer. So I didn't really take that very serious. Like I was doing as much as I could, but like I didn't really put it out there as much as I wanted to. But like I just feel like of late I'm just like, I have, like I said, like I have a lot to give, so why not give and just, put myself out there? Because you never know what can happen, What was the second question?
No, that's okay. I'm enjoying it. The second question was, what do you feel like you can offer the world for your content?
I can offer myself.
Okay.
I'm a funny babe.
Okay.
I'm just joking, no. So personally, I just feel like sometimes that as much as it seems like a really easy question, like it's something that you literally have to sit down and think through, because if you're not careful you can get like mixed with everyone, but at the same time there's always space. Like there's a friend of mine that was telling me he used bread as a reference. It was like, there's so much bread in the world, and if you go to the supermarket and you have so much bread options, everybody's still going to buy that same bread, so there's definitely space for everybody to do what they want to do. But so I feel like personally, I have like what I feel like I can offer is my sense of creativity, my sense of individuality, and the fact that I'm just always ready to like do more and just be a better person, and not even just for myself, but like for people out there as well, like be an inspiration as well. So I think for like personally, that's what I know that I can give.
Yeah, definitely. Quick question. This is so random, but was that friend Nigerian?
No, okay. He's African.
He's African, no. The reason why I say is because, African, we love our analogies. So no, but the bread one's good. I've never heard that.
Smart. As when I heard it, I was just like, nah, this boy is smart. He's spitting facts.
That was really good. And yeah, I guess also, you mentioned that you sing, so I guess I won't be on the spot.
Hi, no. Hay fever is killing me right now. So it's like, I've never had hay fever. This is my first time having it, and it's killing me.
Okay.
Hey, please don't even. I'm not ready to sing. I'm shy.
So you're saying is you just have to wait. Maybe
one day. One day you just see me on stage. I'll be like beside my favorite artist. I'll be with Thames. I'll be singing. Why you wanna try me? Amen.
But yeah, let's look back because you spoke about your creative journey has been sort of there throughout, especially how it's formed who you are and how you express yourself. Are there any like memorable moments or experiences that helped you to sort of harness and develop your talents and your skills?
Personally, yeah. So what I would say is the support of my family. Like growing up as a kid, like especially if you're growing up in Africa, like there was this thing that like electricity. Like if you take like there's no light from certain hours of the day. So like sometimes it's like you decide to switch on the generator or you don't. So like as a kid when we were growing up and we'd just all be together and then we'd be in the living room like the whole no lights, everyone's together chilling, having family time with the candles on and bonding, and then everyone start playing music, and then we all like just start dancing, laughing through that time. So I feel like that whole time with my family every single day or every other day, whenever it did happen, was something that really just made me realize how much the idea of being creative or just being able to let loose through like a particular type of talents, like dance, music, acting, was just something that literally helped us let loose and connect more as a family. And I think that's why personally, like being creative in that sense is something that literally inspires me, because that connection that we're able to build as a family shows me that I could also build that same connection with other people as well. So yeah.
That's really good. And yeah, I think especially whether it's family or friends, having that support group with you when you're on your journey is so important.
Yeah, it is.
So thank you. But yeah, we're going to go to another question. So this one I think is quite important because for a lot of students, I feel like they might not necessarily agree with this. So, you said you studied media and communication, and obviously with content creation, there are some lessons that can be learned from that. But I guess the question I want to ask is essentially in what ways has having that academic background influenced your creative process? Because for a lot of students, especially if they do something completely different to what they're passionate about, they can't always bring that academic side into it. So yeah.
I think I was lucky. I'm not gonna lie, because like, I could only say maybe one course or two courses literally helped me, which is the camera, understanding how to angle your camera, or understanding a camera, things like that, or like social media, how social media works, things like that. Not even in the sense of social media itself, like it means like how people react to certain things, propaganda and all that. That's like, those are some type of things that literally helped me towards my creativity. Besides that, my course in general, I wouldn't connect it to my creative side that much, but like, you just have to always find something that, you know, keeps pushing you, whether it's in your academics or outside your academics. If you want to blow, be thinking of that, like have that in your mind that, oh yes, I want to be famous, or no, not even famous, just want to be relevant, you know, and be able to give back. Like that should be your inspiration. If that's what it is, it is. If your academics helps you to do that, then fine. If not, then you always just have to look outside for like proper inspiration to keep pushing every single day.
Yeah, definitely, and it's something that you know, like you said, it's not always like clear what your passion is, and you know, you mentioned it before, the university is a good place to like figure out, you know,
who you are,
and what you want to do. But yeah, I guess that's links, because you know, you mentioned before about the content that you sort of create. So you mentioned that you start off with like gym stuff. But yeah, could we also know like what are some of the other sort of themes or topics that you're either currently exploring or you're thinking about going to explore in the future, and what are some of the hopes that you sort of, through your content, you hope that your audience will gain from?
So I'm also going into lifestyle and fashion besides fitness. I know normally people are always like, if you're gonna do like be on social media, you should have like a proper niche it down to one. Nah, I'm just trying to do. At first, I feel like people like to do things for other people as opposed to doing it for themselves first. So I think that is what I'm doing now. I'm doing things for myself. So I've chosen what I want to do. And I know that it won't be easy, but like you just have to keep pushing. Like I enjoy these things. Like I enjoy fashion, I enjoy fitness, I enjoy like my day-to-day life, like showing people like sometimes what I do, how I do certain things. So yeah. What was the second part of the question?
No, it was just what do you hope that your content will convey to your audience? So what do you hope?
Like I said, I just hope that it conveys like that. If you decide to be like a content creator, even if you don't, like, you just being yourself is what just matters at the end of the day. Like, because everyone just keeps following a crowd most of the time, and everything just becomes so saturated because everybody's like doing the same thing. Like I feel like being yourself is what should matter. Like that's what I want to show on to people, and so that people could actually take that and, you know, put that onto themselves as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's so powerful. But yeah, let's go on to the next question. Because on our website, obviously these guys will know, we have your description of how you described yourself.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that your creativity played a huge part in like how not only your sort of like work and your academics, but also enabled you to help you with your emotions. And yeah, I was wondering if we could know a bit more about that. Is it helped you through particular times? I know, like for example, like I'm not saying like we're singers or anything, but like, you know, sometimes singers use music to help them get through like breakups or like heartache or things like that. Has your creativity helped you, whether it's through like relationships or anything like tough time at university or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, like maybe whenever I have assignments and I can't think and I don't know what to do, I go to the gym, or I get dressed, or I do my makeup and I just go out, you know, things like that. But through a breakup, you know, it's not that serious, you know. Or maybe like, but like emotionally, like it just kind of has made me, like when I say emotions, like kind of made me understand how to, you know, not procrastinate and know how the fact that you need to do a certain thing at a certain time. So it has really helped me like know how to gauge myself and put myself in certain places and know how to react and act to certain things. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely really good, and I think like we said, to be able to know, like I mentioned before, that creative outlets are good to sort of help you with every day-to-day life, like you said, like learning to give yourself like deadlines and stick to things, especially like you said, when academics or things like that can get boring, and you're dealing with like your studies and you're not really interested, having like an outlet where you can like just go for it. Like, I mean, I don't act like I go to the gym regularly, but like when I do go, I enjoy it. Or even like if I go for a long walk or go for a run around like where I live, it is fun it is nice because you're sort of like not thinking about anything else but what you're doing. And even like stuff like this, like doing the podcast, editing it, stuff like that, it is nice to sort of, like you said, like give yourself that outlet to just focus and not have to worry about something. It is, it does. We're going to go on to another question, which is obviously with anything there are challenges. Mental health is really important to us at Pick Up the Mic, and we love to share resources that can support your mental health. And that's why we are so glad to have today's sponsor. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get you started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live appointments when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't right for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at an affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/pickupthemic. I've also linked them down below in the description. So again, that's betterhelp.com/pickupthemic, MIC, and start your journey today. So we'd like to ask you, what are some of the challenges you faced as a content creator and how have you overcome them? This is the first part, so we'll do this one and then we'll go to the next one.
Jeez. I feel like as a content creator, like what you'd most likely struggle with is like procrastination, like I'm going to do this today, and then just finding that energy to actually do those things that you said you're going to do, because besides being a content creator, like you have other things you're doing as well in life, to pay the bills and, stuff like that. So you literally need to know how to like balance everything. So it's not like whenever you're about to do one thing, you're too tired to do the other. And sometimes it just, those are the things I know that I struggle with personally. And then maybe now that I'm, 100% taking it like full time, like also being able to put myself in the audience by myself. Like to take pictures outside by myself, not needing someone to do all these things for me. I think that's also some of the challenges that I am going through and I'm working through, because of late, like I'm always like waiting to depend on like a friend of mine to help me take pictures and do certain things. I think I need to challenge myself more to do things by myself as opposed to holding on or waiting for someone else to be able to do those things with me or for me. So yeah, those are some of the challenges that I know that, I go through as a content creator personally, but ones that are not, from my side. So it's just like you create content and then you post it and then you feel like you don't get that much engagement. Those are another thing that I know that, can be like a challenge. Like it will weigh you down, feeling like as if, after doing all these things, I didn't get this much views or I didn't get this much interactions, or like up to now, like with everything, putting myself out there, I still haven't gotten like brand ambassadorship or like sponsorship. But I keep telling myself that with time, these things happen because, let me not be cheeky or like anything, like this course, Rome wasn't built in a day, So like it takes time, like, and all these things, like, and you just have to keep reminding yourself about all these things, like, when it's your time, it's your time. Like, I'm that type of person that believes in things like that. And being patient is, like, very, very important. But at the same time, I'm also a human being. Like, it will play in my mind, like, oh, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough work, things like that. So I feel like talking down on yourself is also another challenge, like, as well, personally. But every single time I just keep reminding myself that, you know, with time it gets better and I get better and things will get better. So yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's true, and I think as a like you said, like a content creator, it's I guess first off with you saying about like the procrastination type thing, like you said, it is quite difficult to sort of like especially if you're like recording stuff,
Yeah.
especially I think in a more video format, it's kind of hard, like you said, like. You have to find like a good stand. You've got to make sure the setup's good. It's more annoying. So like I know, like for example, you guys probably don't know about it, but when we did the Comic-Con video, like there were times when like I had to do the recording myself, and you know, it was
very frustrating.
It was frustrating. There were times when we recorded like us interviewing someone, and there was no audio because the thing didn't pick it up, so we couldn't use it. So it is definitely like a thing that happens to everyone. But yeah, I'd say the most important thing, you know, maybe we'll do a video on it because I've done a talk on it a few times, but it's like knowing like what's the best equipment to use, what can you use to like help you with that. So like I mentioned at Comic-Con, like I have a stand, I've got a microphone, I can connect with my phone, so I don't have to like have this whole setup or like take a like expensive camera out or whatever. So I think knowing that with the procrastination is good, and even like just planning out your week. So saying like, oh, you know, I need to. So like we pick up the mic. I know that on a minimum, there's at least 2 podcast episodes coming out each week, if possible, and then. Throughout that week, there's at least going to be the 2 posts announcing it, and then maybe like some other posts around it as well. But just having like planning out your content for the week, for the month, it's not something that comes immediately. There are some days when I do forget or like I'm really tired. But yeah, it's just about planning it out and then using like apps like you've got for Instagram, you've got Meta Business. On Facebook, you've got Meta Business Suite. You can use Canva for LinkedIn and stuff like that. You can save posts as drafts on TikTok. Like there's a lot of resources that help you to sort of do the planning side of content as well.
I mean, it also like making like a content calendar is something that also helps, so that you know that on this day this is what I'm doing, that you know this editing or planning, things like that. So it all comes together if you have a plan and a strategy, and it works.
Yeah, definitely. And even with you know, with the engagement thing, you know, we've said it multiple times in different episodes that for us, we always see it that we're creating content at least for one person. That there's one person that needs to, whether it's hear an episode like this today, whether it's to learn about academics, whether it's to learn about like their favourite TV show or film, like there's always one person that our content should reach. And when you start to see it like that, the numbers are important. Like you should know.
The numbers won't count.
Yeah.
Like you would just be more focused on the fact that at least one person has seen my work and they love it, and that enough is enough for me. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And even like with businesses, you know, you can even think about it as yourself. There are some businesses that you're probably very loyal to, and that's most likely because they give you, whether it's like a really good product or the stuff they create really emphasizes or connects with you. Those are things that you wouldn't necessarily get if it was like if the brand wasn't that good, you probably wouldn't stay with them. So having that is really good. The second part to the question was basically, I guess it sort of links to what you were saying there about like procrastination, was how do you just maintain your motivation and your inspiration when I didn't know this. Davina told me this about, like, for example, like if you make a reel on CapCut and you upload it to Instagram, you know, Instagram can limit how wide the video reaches. That was something that I didn't necessarily know, so it changed the way that we were creating content on Instagram. But yeah, it was basically like with how technology and like I guess content and the way it's delivered is constantly
very
evolving.
different.
How do you maintain your motivation and inspiration?
I think because I know where I'm going, that's why I know I have, like, that's how I maintain my motivation and inspiration, because I know who I want to be in the future and where I want to be and what I want to be doing as well. So I think that is literally my motivation. And besides me, because I'm somebody that thinks about my family first. So I'm also thinking about where I'm going to be able to put my family and do certain things for my family. That's me. So it's not just that, you know, because I'm somebody that I love people around me to also feel, you know, good and inspired about who they are and where they want to be. So those are the things that inspire me to just keep pushing. every single time.
Yeah, no, it's a really good thing to have, and yeah, I think it's always powerful to see someone who's because I think there are like we said, there are people who are the exact opposite. They're only like there for like, oh, well, like if I'm successful, I'm successful. Like I did it myself. I don't need to think about my friends and family supporting me. But yeah, for someone like you to be very passionate about supporting, like not seeing it as like you're just uplifting yourself, but you're lifting your family and your friends as well.
Definitely.
So yeah, really good. But yeah, we're coming towards the end of this, so we've got 2 more questions left.
Yeah.
The first one is. Can you? I don't know if you do. If there's any like legal stuff that you can't tell us. But do you have any upcoming projects or goals for your content journey that we can know about? Is there anything that your audience can look forward to in the future?
So personally, there's just a few things. Like I just wanna. I'm thinking, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I wanted to start like a podcast with my friends.
Okay.
But like I'm not 100% sure yet in the same space, because my space is like quite podcasty and quite homey, and have conversations. Like it's not even a specific thing, it's just sit down and have conversations about life and about why certain things happen the way they are, people, their own perspective, my own perspective, things like that. So that one is something that I've kind of had on my mind now for a while, and I'm someone that if something is still on my mind repeatedly, I'll definitely act on it eventually. Also maybe just doing more, work fashion wise, with, different brands as much as I can reach out to and, get their, ambassadorship or something, So yeah, for now that's all I have in mind.
Is there a dream collaboration, like a dream organisation you'd love to be a brand ambassador for?
That's a hard one. There is.
Okay.
But it's a hard one. I would actually love to be, first of all, Gymshark would be one of my, if I was to become a, ambassador for anyone. Gymshark, I would love Fenty, because I like how Fenty also represents, black people in the industry, and not just black people, but every race, and mostly women too as well, and how they body positivity as well is very important. And if I was to say streetwear brand wise, I've been liking, my friend's brand is a Nigerian brand as well. It's called J Bottoms, as well as Broken Planets, which is a British brand.
Yeah, so I guess Gymshark, Fenty, you heard it here first. If you're interested, then
J Bottoms.
Exactly, come.
Broken Planet. And so on.
Exactly. No, but honestly, I wish you all the best with that.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's I think it's good, because I think especially with I think, for example, with us, we didn't think about approaching people for to work with or to sponsor until recently.
Yeah.
So even in your journey to sort of be already thinking about that, because I think a lot of the time people think oh, my channel's not big enough, or I don't have a big enough audience, or my engagement isn't always strong on every post. I can't sort of reach out to these people and say sponsor me. But yeah, there are a lot of, like I said, especially for newer channels, there are a lot of people that if you've got a unique niche,
I mean, to be honest, you don't really have to have that much followers to become an ambassador. Exactly. I've noticed that these days, people just want someone that is ready to work. But sometimes it's so hard, because I feel brands cannot just give out to anyone because they want to see someone that has that engagement or just has that following. But sometimes I feel you just need to look at how much someone is ready to work and put in that work and commitment into everything. But they can't trust you if they don't see. So
yeah, definitely. So yeah, thank you very much for that. And then just one last question. What advice or encouragement would you give to anyone who considers themselves an aspiring content creator who's got a really passionate idea, or they've got a unique talent that they want to share with the world?
Personally, I would say just start and stop doubting yourself, because I doubted myself for months, maybe even up to years. I thought my content won't be relevant enough. So don't if you ever think like that, I feel you need to remove that from your mind and personally start thinking positive and just put everything you have out there. don't worry about whether you're going to get enough views or enough engagement. You will get it eventually, especially if you're posting what you like, posting with good quality, camera quality as well, and just find what you are passionate about and just keep going. That's what I can say.
Well, thank you. And yeah, I think that's a perfect way to end today's episode. So thank you very much, Davina, for coming on to the podcast
Of course,
today.
thank you for having me.
It's been great to learn more about you, your content journey, words of encouragement to anyone who's considers themselves a content creator. If anyone's interested in getting in touch, maybe they're a brand looking for an ambassador. What's the best way for them to get in contact?
Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram or email anyone. Davina Akpuru. That's my Instagram. I just froze. I was like, is that all? But yeah, and I think my details are on the website too.
Yes.
Yes. Just ask me whatever. I'm open to it and I'm very much ready for to put myself out there.
Perfect. And thank you again to our wonderful audience for coming back for another episode. If you like this episode, like, comment, subscribe is always appreciated. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of our other episodes, make sure you click the notification bell at the bottom of the video. And finally, if you're interested in supporting the podcast and receiving some perks, you can become either a YouTube channel member, which you'll see like a join or subscribe button again at the bottom of the video. There's some unique perks that you can get. And if not, if you're a bit more comfortable with Patreon, then you can subscribe to our Patreon page. The link is in the description. But yeah, we're going to close the curtain on the podcast today. And yeah, we'll see you next time when we go behind the curtain and discuss the topic.
Bye.